Good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us and hear us all out. So a manager of mine a long time ago said, if you want to have one thing in mind when you're in a room, try your best to be the dumbest guy in the room every time you go into a room. My streak remains unbroken. I'm with a lot of very, very smart people. So my message to you as a patient, my long list of credentials includes the fact that I was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2013. And that's it. I work in the technology industry. So hearing what I just heard from Rebecca, the good news is the solution's right there. Here's the solution. It's right in front of you. Steve Jobs gave it to us a while ago, and we're not leveraging it properly. In our pocket, we all have a connection that is oftentimes 5 to 10 to 20 times faster than the connection in our homes. Yeah. What we're not doing is we're not pulling down the walls between the research sector and the private sector and going to our friends at Verizon or AT&T and say, you know what, you guys are always telling us how much you love the community and how much you love your customers. How about you send us 200 little key fobs that plug into the side of the laptop that are going to give our patients and our respondents full LTE connection so that they can do our studies and not have the thing drop out halfway through. I just solved an amazing problem.
That you will. I'll talk to you later.
That's awesome. So what we really need to do is, I hear a lot of the verbiage about patient-centric and patient this and patient that. Again, smart people tend to get in a group with other smart people and smart people themselves to death, and all of a sudden the patients are going, wow, look at all those smart people over there. We're going to go to the buffet. What you got to do is make sure that those patients are included in your survey groups, in your study groups, in your discussion groups as much as possible. Yes, they're not academicians, they're not researchers, they're not doctors, but they're fighting a battle too. They're fighting the same battle all of us are fighting. So I think what we should best keep in mind is they can give us the answer. Patients can give us the answer. At Fox Insight and the Fox Foundation, we've started a couple of different segments of our Fox Insight study team where we're trying to develop dialogue with these patients and a beta testing team so that we're in constant dialogue with the people who are taking the Fox Insight studies on a quarterly basis and giving us information on what the Parkinson's patient experiences. It's a boutique disease. We all have some different manifestation of it. So the more information we can gather and the more people we keep engaged and communicating and letting us know, the more information we can aggregate so that smart people like you can look at it all, spread it all out and say, well, there's a commonality here, there's a biomarker here, there's a commonality here. Wait a minute, if we just pull on this thread, the next thing you know, every day at 4 o'clock, I don't feel like I'm wearing a concrete suit. There's a drug, or there's a therapy, or there's a modality for me to avoid that nonsense that I have to deal with every day in the afternoon. So do your best to reach out to the patients. And here's the most exciting part. I'm not going to give you any slides. Isn't that awesome? I sat at home thinking, I could do all these slides and heat maps about who's engaged with our studies. I'm not going to do that. Well, let's just talk. So if you look at Fox Insight, how we are, we're a little, in terms of our participants, if you look at the continental US, we're a little horseshoey. Lots of participation out on the edges of the country, some staggered in the middle, but there are a lot of underserved communities that we would like to get information from. As patients, we're all faucets. My message to Michael J. Fox and Tim Cook from Apple is if you guys could develop a technology that you could implant in my head so I could send you data 24/7 all the time, I'd do it tomorrow. We have to encourage the patients to be that way too. Yes, talk about protecting their data and de-identifying, and we have to have passionate evangelists in the patient community who are going to contribute, and not abandon. So do everything you can to loop them in and discuss with them and talk to them. Not only what's bad about the studies, what do you like? What can we make better? What can we improve? What user interface can we do? Improvements can we do to make it easier for you to get through it? I've talked to a couple of folks while I've been here about when I started here, there was questions in the study. You would have question number 1, and it would be asked in a different form in question number 8, and then question number 17 and number 25. So by the time you hit question 40, you're aggravated because I've answered this 10 times. And the next time you know, oh, look, a funny cat video. I'm going to watch that instead. That's what happens. That's the real world. When we think about all that the cool stuff that we put in front of patients, they get bored because they have a tremor, their medication goes off cycle, they're having a cramp, there's some episodic thing that's wearing them out. So make it easy to get in there and get out. And again, leverage these things so that they can do it mobily without having to be tethered to a machine or a system. So, I'm more than happy to chat with anybody here, and I had some good conversation with Silas yesterday about some of the technologies that we can leverage, some of the corporate partners we can talk to about doing it. Again, they're all willing and able to help. I think that if we just tell them how they can help, I think we're going to be in a good spot.